Okay, welcome to our next video. This video really takes what we learned about in the selecting video and adds a new element to it. If you remember, when we draw an object, pull it up, we can use our spacebar to grab our select tool. We can double click, which will select the face and the lines around that face. Or we can triple click the object and the entire object is selected. We also learned about the fact that if we draw something directly on that object, it is now part of that object. It's connected. It's all one piece. So if I try to triple click on only this extruding piece, everything gets selected. We're going to learn how to make sure that that doesn't happen anymore. So let's begin by just drawing a rectangle and pulling it up so that you have a cube. It doesn't matter how big or how small it is. So make sure you have that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use a tool that allows us to make this all one piece. Because really what these shapes are is a collection of faces and lines. We're going to get it so that it's just one solid piece. So the first step is to triple click on the object that you want to make individual. I know it's triple clicked because the entire thing is either dotted in blue on the faces or the lines are solid. Now we're going to right click on the object. Right click. And we get some new things that we can work with. One of those things, if you look down near the middle, is something called Make Component. Make Component. So far, you probably should have already written down triple click, right click, Make Component. And you can put this under the title, How to Make Components. So when we click Make Component, we get a new window and allows us to create a component. Now, when it says name, that doesn't matter. As you get more and more components, you may decide to keep things organized, but it really doesn't matter. All you have to do is click Create. Now, if I click off of that shape and click back on it, you'll notice that the faces are no longer dotted blue. And that's because this is one shape all of itself. All of the lines get selected. Now, if I double click on a component, I get a dotted wire line around my component. This is the process of editing that component. And you can do this two ways. So make sure you write this down somewhere. If I want to go back and make a change to this shape, let's say it needs to be taller. Well, if I pull and I try to hover over that shape, it doesn't let me. Because once you create a component, that's the way it is. You've finalized it. So you want to get in the habit of not making components until you're pretty happy with that piece. Let's say, though, that you did make a mistake and you need to make a change. Well, I'm going to press spacebar from my select tool, and I can change this component one of two ways. I can right click on the component and go to Edit Component, and I get that same wireframe. I press Escape and go back to the regular screen, or like I said earlier, I can double click. So now let's say I want to make this a little bit taller. I can do that, and once I click my select tool and I click off of that shape, this is the new component. Again, I can't manipulate it, but I was able to edit it. So, recap. You draw shapes. In fact, I'll draw a cylinder. It doesn't matter what the shape is. To make it a component, you're going to press your select tool, triple click, right click, make component, and create. In the next video, We're going to begin learning about the move tool so that you can actually move pieces and add them all together. And we're going to talk about a concept called inferences. Google SketchUp really wants to help you. It really wants to let you know where you are in your space with your axis lines, but it also wants to let you know where you're putting objects or where you're drawing lines. And that's using what are called inferences.